And today is it's actually your test, not mine, because we'll be doing a little bit of understanding of all the methods that you have studied in the last 9 sessions, right? So without any ado, I will get into the session. We are going to do an understanding of your knowledge of cognitive learning based on one method that we have selected, and that is case studies. Can anybody tell me what is a case study? Yeah,
Ma'am,
any
you
takers?
introduce a case, I mean, you would introduce a scenario, and then we'll look at what observations we have, what went wrong, what could have been done better, and then you come to a judgment of how can we make it better for the future.
Absolutely. So basically, we take some scenario which is either known to us or fictional, and we analyze that, and then we draw our conclusions or our observations from that. I remember when I was doing my MBA, and we had a case study on Gillette, and it was a 40-page case study. Until date, and it's decades since I've completed my MBA, but that case study still lingers in terms of the effectiveness of it because we were learning it in marketing. And it remains with me till date because Gillette is a company which did things a little differently in those days. It didn't do mass marketing, it just went in depth into one product. And that was unbelievable for some people like us who were living in India. And in those days, we didn't have case studies which were Indian. We always studied case studies which were given in the US market, So we've done Toys for You or whatever those companies. And it was amusing for us because it was a different context altogether. But today we are very lucky that we get more contextual case studies. Yes. Dr. Hari Prabhu, question?
Ma'am, case study is one of the best tool. What I can say, we can do a best practice and document. Based on that, we can find the success and failures of that client, ma'am.
Absolutely. Case study can be done in so many ways. It can be done by itself as a research tool, or it can be used as a tool to teach something, analyze something. It can be done for comparative value. It can be done for exploratory value, explanatory value. So case study as a technique is extremely useful. So as a trainer, we really can use it as a tool, as a weapon, whatever you wish to use it as. Case studies are extremely effective in terms of hitting home the memorability of our subject matter. And that is one of the reasons why it has been selected as one way in which we will be reiterating the learning methods that we have learned over the last whatever number of Sundays that we have been together. I'll start with the PPT again. Fingers crossed that the PPT opens this time. I have tried to change all the damn settings that I could, and here's hoping that those settings have been managed. Please tell me that this is visible to all of you.
It is visible,
Yes,
ma'am.
madam.
It is, it is.
Does it move
Visible.
forward?
Yes.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
does
Yes.
move. Yay, there is a God then. All right.
Ma'am,
So
still some issue, ma'am. There's a
is
bar
there.
on the right side. Like,
That confidentiality thing is come up.
Patches is coming, madam, vertically and horizontally.
Oh, those patches have not gone away. Is it Gurvinder? I'm so sorry. I request your help again.
no problem, ma'am.
It seems like God doesn't want me to do the session on my own. Gurvinder has to be 100%, in my session.
Ma'am, we can look at it as God wants you to focus on us more than sharing sites. No, no offense to anything else.
No multitasking at all for Gurvinder. All right, so we'll take it from here. And what I've done is we will understand first what the case study method is, and because much depends on that in understanding why we are taking up the case study method. The elaborateness of that we will do a little later, like when we are ending the session. But suffice to say, like Gaurav very rightly pointed out, we simulate something that is real life. It encourages a lot of analysis or thinking, or we can take it and explain it or explore it. So basically for any kind of decision making or for problem solving, case study is a wonderful approach. We'll take the next one. Next slide. We'll take the next slide. First, before using any case study, and I'm going to show it to you, please set the clear objectives of why is it that you're using that particular case study. So whether it is to teach a particular concept, to explain something, please make sure that the audience is aware of what is the purpose of that case study. If you do not set the purpose, then it will be a wishy-washy effort because the audience does not know which direction you are leading in. So first, you need to set extremely clear objectives as to what is the concept that I'm going to explore. Like I gave you the example of Gillette, when we studied Gillette, we were very sure that we have to study the strategy, marketing strategy of Gillette, and whether they are doing the right thing or wrong thing. Because in those days, it was still an open point. It was a moot point whether they were in the right field or not, whether they should have diversified or not, or they should have stuck to a single product strategy. So make very sure that the objective is very, very clear. Next one, please. You need to brief the participants about, like I'm doing right now, that you need the tools that we use in training. Please make sure that you co-opt the participants who are in front of you, because unless and until you explain to them the purpose, then we are treating them like monkeys who are being conditioned. So please co-opt the participants so that you make them understand the purpose of the training methodology. Next one, please. Uh, always use interactive formats for case study, because perspectives vary, understandings vary, interpretations vary. So you have to make very sure that everybody gets involved in this discussion or analysis that takes place. It cannot, please avoid using a case study in terms of ये case study है, इसका ऐसे analysis करना है, ये इसका answer है. Never do that, because a case study is never a passive tool or a passive activity. It has to be an immersive activity where the participants will themselves lead themselves to the conclusion. Okay, next one. Facilitate a discussion. You remember last time we had talked about the Socrates method or the Socrates discussion, where you keep on asking questions and you keep on going, क्यों ऐसे क्यों बोला, फिर ये क्यों नहीं हो सकता, can we do this differently, what was the thought in your mind when we did this. So even at a level where people will clarify their own thoughts when you ask the question. So whenever we facilitate that discussion, clarity is what we are looking for, because when somebody gives you an answer, it should not be, it's like in mathematics, you can reach the answer by copying somebody else's answer. What we want is the methodology. वहां पे पहुंचे कैसे आप? That is what we really want to know. We want to know the steps that reached you to that answer. So the answer actually is immaterial. It's the process that is going to really count. So make sure that it is not something that we lecture on, but something that you guide them into learning. Next one, please. So I'm doing this as an example. We'll take case study 1, and this is regarding customer service training for call center agents. This we will do together. And then there are similar case studies which we will go into breakout rooms and you will have to resolve on your own. But I'll do this because then I show you what pattern I'm looking for. So I'm just putting the guidance levels over here, that this is how it needs to be solved. So scenario over here is a telecom company is experiencing high turnover and low customer satisfaction. New call center agents often struggle to retain the information from initial training and apply it on live calls. So there is some problem in the training where the retention of the methodologies, protocols is not being done. Now, what is the cognitive focus that we have? What is the reason that we are doing this particular case study? The cognitive focus is cognitive load theory. All of us have studied, I think it's the first or the second chapter that you all have studied about the cognitive load theory. Now over here, we need to minimize the extraneous load and support the working memory, right? So the focus is very, very clear. This is what we have to learn. Okay. Now, what is the goal? Improve the information retention confidence by the job, reducing the overload and increasing the reinforcement. Now, for this, what is the trainer's task? As a trainer, what would you have to do? Would you like to take this up? It's open to everybody in the class. So how would you, what is it that the trainer should do? What methodology will you use? What will you keep in mind to do this?
Ma'am, between in cognitive load theory, because of the assignment also, we got to learn couple of factors like Germain method or something. So as
Correct.
a trainer, I would like to, if I'm coming to exact things that I'll be doing, like maybe group discussions on different customer, these customers problems that they are coming to this call center, and prepare FAQs or something, and based on that, after this, prepare bite-sized small chunks of this report,
Absolutely.
and at the end maybe have a role play session or something, so that registers. or top of that, this is what it's coming from you now.
Absolutely correct. Because the moment we say that the external load has to be reduced, then we also see how, हम लोग हिंदी में बोलते क्लिष्ट, how difficult is your material itself to understand, if that can be simplified. And where chunking is concerned, we say that how do you eat an elephant? You actually shouldn't eat an elephant, okay? But if you had to eat an elephant, you would eat it piece by piece. That is where chunking really comes in. Okay, very nice. Gaurav, go ahead.
We can use some calls that they've already taken, which have led to an escalation, and where the process in itself was not used. So, as a, as a product knowledge wherein it went wrong and it went to an escalation.
So basically an analysis of what actually went wrong, right?
Correct. Such calls can be played, and then maybe in a 5-minute, 10-minute session, just as a briefing.
Correct. Calls will be recorded for whatever purpose. Yeah. So that is what very good understanding, that first understand where is the glitch, where is the problem really lying. All right. Any more answers? Continuous learning. Okay, that is what Ashik says. All right, continuous learning. All right. Now, I'll show you what the answer, one possible answer could be. Sorry, I forget. Gurvind, the next slide, please. So this is what the trainer's task is. Basically to break the complex procedures into smaller manageable segments using micro-learning modules. Then you have to use visuals, you have to use flowcharts, scenario-based examples to reduce the text-heavy material. So wherever you have extremely text-heavy material, you will see that if you can break that monotony by putting in a few graphics or some diagrams which is going to explain, it will help them to remember. So visual memory can be created. Introduce spaced repetition tools for attention, that is a daily recap quiz or a self-paced quiz, whatever it may be, or cue cards that are given, anything that will introduce the idea of a retention technique where you check whether what you have taught has already been there. And when you do that repeatedly, it makes sure that with the number of repetitions that knowledge actually sticks with them. So this is one answer that I'm giving you, that we are looking at, where this is the trainer's task. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put forward similar case studies to you, that is 2, 3, 4 and 5. So there are 4 case studies. Gurinder, please note that we will have 4 breakout rooms. There will be 20 minutes which will be given to each team. I will be visiting you during that time because I want to hear the discussion that is going on. Like I said, the answer is actually a smaller part of it. What I need is the process of understanding how you are going to reach this, how you're going to go through this process, right? So we will require 4 teams. And what I'd like to do is please take a screenshot of the case studies over here, because I don't know how to share it with each one of you in your breakout rooms. So this is, Gurvinder, the next slide, please. This will be for team 1. So I suggest you take a screenshot or a photograph of all the 4 case studies, whichever is yours, please go ahead and use it. So this will actually be for team 1. So whoever is in breakout room number 1, this is your case study. Please take a photograph of it or a screenshot of it for your reference. Right? For team number 2 or breakout room number 2, this will be your case study, upskilling sales team on new product lines. Because right now you don't know which room you're going to be in, I suggest you take screenshots of all 4 of the case studies. Case study 4, please. This will be for breakout room number 3. This is for onboarding software engineers. Next one. Case study number 5. This is for breakout room number 4, developing leadership decision making. Okay. So you will be in breakout rooms, and then you can start the discussion. I would like you to select one person who will be representing your team. If that person forgets to add something or say the right things, the other team members are free to anytime step in. But select one representation from your team so that we can go ahead with the presentations faster. Each team will get 3 minutes to present what they have discussed, right? So I would like an understanding of the topic, and number two, the solution to the topic. So what is the trainer's task over here? Because please remember, this whole thing is about how are we going to set the training task. So what is the trainer's task over here is what I'm interested in. Any questions before going into the breakout rooms?
So what we have done,
Guys, if you have the bandwidth, can you please switch on your, it's so much nicer to have a visual to the audio. Otherwise, वो radio लगता है, you know. So Prasanna, if you do have the bandwidth, can you just please switch on the video? Thank you so much. So kind of you. Go ahead.
so like the case study is all about upskilling the sales team on new product line.
Yes.
So we had a discussion like my team, Dr. Yashoda and Jayhant, Ravi, and the other was Mukesh. So we were all discussing on the following, that for upskilling, what we can do is the initial thing is a role play that helps to upskill the sales in the team. And also we have certain points. I'll just list out the points. The second thing is invite the vendor to give the demos on the sales product so that people will be educated on that. That helps in the improvement. And the third thing is making the short video, which help them to learn the tech specification.
Okay.
If it is, whenever they have doubts, they don't want a person to be there, they can recall, they can review the video and go ahead with that. And the next thing is peer learning, which is a buddy system. With buddy system, as a learner or a facilitator, when they are telling something, some might not listen, some might not get the idea. Whereas if they interact with the other one or the neighbor or their friends, they'll get to know more of what it is. And it is not only what they're observing from the learner and also from the peers. And learning by sharing. So if there are somebody who is expert in that, they can add point to that, and learning by sharing will definitely help. And especially we need to look into the gap analysis. The gap analysis will let us know where we are lagging so that we can focus on the area more and do not waste time on the other areas which we are already known, and we can spend time to improve the sales of the company. And the other thing is the pre and the post serving methods. Serving method will definitely help us. And on the job training is another thing where we will be trained occasionally and periodically. That is very important and mandated to be that helps in the that helps to increase the sales. And the last thing is we should focus on the process instead of the result. Whereas a result will automatically be obtained, whereas the process needs to be focused. If there are changes, it has to be mandated and to be updated every time. So these are the things which we have discussed now.
All right. That makes a lot of sense to me. It is always nice to hear. Prasanna, are you from a sales team?
No, I work as a HR man.
Anybody else who was from the sales team in your group?
Uh,
Oh, all right. Okay.
But I'm in training. I give the on-job training to the salespeople.
Oh, all right. Oh, wonderful. So you have rich experience in that. All right.
and we had Dr. Yashoda who will be training in all aspects.
Okay. I know, I saw that Dr. Yashoda's video was switched on when, especially, breakout room two, there was a lot of camaraderie that was going on over there where everybody had their video switched on and to and fro was happening over there. Feels very nice because, that's what this whole journey is about. Because जितना learning peer learning में होता है, उतना learning कहीं और नहीं होता. That is my understanding, ever since I've been in college.
Absolutely right,
So,
madam.
absolutely, because teacher can do only so much, facilitator can do only so much. Peer learning का जो richness है ना, that cannot come anywhere. In fact, one of the things that you all will benefit from is the largeness and the variety of people who are there. And I feel you should take advantage of that because you will have insights. Like, now Chamandi is from manufacturing, Yashoda ma'am is from training. So everybody brings something to the table. And Prasanna, I think your team has done well.
Everybody
I know.
cooperated, ma'am. Everyone cooperated. Everyone switched on. Everyone added also to this.
Yes, I was there for some time and I visited all the groups and I saw that there was a lot of understanding of what the task is. So thank you very much, Prasanna, for that. Good understanding of how to improve the sales team. One note though, if this were a question in the exam, then I remember we used to have a Hindi teacher called Srivastava ma'am and she used to say, प्रश्न को पकड़ के उत्तर लिखो. सो प्रश्न को पकड़ के ही उत्तर लिखना क्योंकि यहाँ पे क्या पढ़ाई हो रही है कॉग्निटिव मेथड्स तो कॉग्निटिव मेथड्स को ही हाईलाइट करना, राइट? सो प्रश्न में अगर कॉग्निटिव मेथड्स पूछे हैं तो प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट यू डू अ लॉट ऑफ स्टडी ऑन द कॉग्निटिव मेथड्स itself. Your answer should have only those. Prasanna, thank you for the presentation. Nidhi, I don't know who you were talking with so animatedly. I wish it was us, right? Any question, Nidhi? You're on mute, my dear.
Okay. Sorry, there was another call.
I thought so.
Yeah, and it was all connected to my laptop. So,
I know you looked so animated because then I got distracted from what Prasanna was saying.
so
I kept
sorry, I
looking at you
forgot.
because
I
there was
thought
so
I
much.
disconnected. I am so
अरे
sorry.
यार, sorry
I
की कोई
hope you
बात
all
ही नहीं है.
enjoyed.
Not a problem at all. Huh? Thank you, Prasanna and team, for that presentation. Can we have team 3 going, please?
Yeah, so team three, ma'am, me, Nidhi, Miss Pachita was there, and then we had Dr. Asit as well, and there were other people as well in our team. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to onboard software engineers, and we believe that these are all junior software engineers who have an experience of 1 to 3 years. We have 1 month of time with them to get them on board, and then so what we've done here is we want to divide this entire training program for them into 3 phases. So wherein the first week would be more of an onboarding, wherein we want to talk about some familiarization just to give them the horizon of the organization, followed by some theory download, and then we want to do some orientation. We also want to talk about some policies, SOPs, and culture diversity, which we are going to cover in the third phase, but we'll just give them a gist of it since this is the first week of their joining. Then we would also want to introduce them to a mentor here because that's going to help them over a longer period of time. Then followed by, once you move on to the second week, we believe that technical training plays a very important role over here. So over here, exactly the technical training would start. So wherein we'll have a combination of ILT as well as OJT, on-job training. We've taken 2 weeks over here. We want to, in the first week, we want to have a model of 2:1, wherein 2 days of ILT training and 1 day of on-job training, because technical training theory part would be on the higher side here in the first week. Then once we move on to the second week of the second phase, we would want to switch that to 1:2, wherein 1 day of ILT training followed by 2 days of on-job training. And we would also want to conduct some assessments over here as a part of technical training. In our group, Ms. Prachita is an SME which comes from IT background. Ms. Prachita, in case you'd like to add something, you can add here. Otherwise, we'll move on to the third phase. In case I've missed on anything, you're on mute. Sorry.
Anybody adding to anything?
Okay. Then in the third phase, we are just left with 1 week now. Once their onboarding is done, the orientation is done, then the second phase, we spoke of the technical training followed by the assessment. The third phase, we want to invest more time in soft skills and negotiations. So now they understand the software, but how are they going to negotiate with the actual clients? So this is where the soft skill training would focus on, and we want to focus more on the cultural aspect of the training in this entire week. This is how the 1 month would look like for these junior software engineers for us.
All right.
Madam, also in our team, we have discussed about a role play regarding the cognitive training for the new joinees. How the things is roles and responsibility. Also, we are in a learner perspective, madam.
Ma'am, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Okay, now the thing is, this looks more like instructional design to me, where you're designing the entire training itself. We need to concentrate only on the cognitive approach. So behavioral to aayega hi nahi isme. So we are doing only the cognitive learning. So where cognitive learning is concerned, and that will definitely be technical in nature. So over there, what are the techniques? So we said that scaffolding is the technique. So scaffolding is something where you help and then you remove the help. Scaffolding is exactly like, building कैसे construct होता है. So बाहर से support मिलता है, फिर वो support निकाल लेते हैं when the actual building can stand also. So till week 2, you were doing good. Week 3, you needn't have worried about. You needn't have worried about the soft skill part of it at all. Your design should have come only in terms of the cognitive learning. So how to do the scaffolding, वहाँ पे क्या techniques use करनी है, how to do the memory retention, how to do the repetition, how to do the dual coding, वो सब आना चाहिए था. So that could have been touched upon more.
So,
You
ma'am,
had
here we looked at micro learning, spaced attention,
yes.
Yeah.
and chunking, because
Okay.
technical information in itself is very vast. So how can
Yes.
we break it down to smaller chunks and a simulation to ensure that they have a hands-on experience for the technical
All right.
process knowledge. So these are the four techniques that we have discussed for
Yes, that
cognitive.
makes more sense to me because then the what you talked at the very macro level ke 4 weeks ka hai 6 weeks ka hai, that really was not the assignment at all over here.
Okay.
So now put together, now it's making a lot of sense to me. These are the techniques that are going to use for cognitive learning. So well
Fair.
done, team 3. Very nicely done to both of you as well as the rest of the team. So thank you for that. Team
Thanks, sir.
4, can we have your take on your case study?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be presenting. Though the team
Go
had
ahead.
a couple of people to name. Some of them is C. Sinaji, Ashik, Mustafa, Shruti, and Kanagraj. So these were the main actually this thing. Ma'am,
All
the
right.
scenario was simple. Middle managers who are having a lot of problems in decision making. So they are depending on a lot of short-term thinking. And the cognitive load or cognitive focus would be on retrieval of practice, strengthen memory, and problem solving through active recall. So to strengthen this, to found support that, so the goal was to boost retention by key leadership models. So for this, we'll do what the trainer's task would be to do in a, to I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So to do an initial TNI, so find out the exact specific situation where it happened, where these problems in making of decision happened, and to make a note of those situations and other parameters which help, like what would be the this middle manager will be doing, what is happening, why is that recall is not coming. So those part of basic TNI, right? So after that, have a small problem based learning, because since it is a only logistics division function, we thought uh,
Very good.
not project based learning would not be that much required, so problem based learning would be there. So where either
Excellent.
will include the HOD of that function, or and definitely some external support for specific courses, refresher courses, small size only because of this problem, like topics like problem solving, decision making, these things only, leadership skills. Because leadership skills, we when we discuss, I think a couple of them pointed it out that it is not some one particular topic. Leadership is a combination of factors. So after this, do a small situation based simulations for two people
Very
to
good.
come up with the solutions for the already identified in TNA, which we identified the particular situations or problems where this middle level managers were facing problem to come to a proper decision, strategic decision. So we'll throw in those things. We'll add a group discussion or something, and again add a mentor or something for that discussion, so that the direction goes in the proper this thing. So we did discuss about having a assessment or something, and we decided that for this, even these skills that we want them to equip. I don't think quiz would help that much for to recall these things, but quiz is also a part of the assessment that we wanted to add. So this is a trainer's task that we are in the 20 minutes we could come up with.
I was there in the room and I was listening to discussion. I liked where you added the mentor. मुझे वो बहुत अच्छा लगा because mentoring, coaching are processes which are really and in today's world the reverse mentoring where the older middle management or top management should be mentored by those who are younger now, because today with so much changing and the workplace being so dynamic, I think reverse mentoring is going to be one of the things to do. Coaching has been happening for a number of years, mentoring too has been happening, but I think reverse mentoring बहुत कम हो रहा है. And I think we can really look at. So I loved when you all brought in the mentoring part because that really is part of the solution to what we were discussing, right? So thank you to team 4 also. Avinash, thank you for taking up the presentation, and thank you for your entire team for the discussion. A good kudos to everybody over here. We are on the same page, and you would have noticed that when you go from orientation to mid-level to top management, you should use more cognitive learning methods, because cognitive learning methods will work better with people who have more experience, because they will bring something to enhance the process, right? So when you're at entry level, they do not have the experience. So over there, extreme amount of cognitive learning may not work. Case studies may not work. And that is why when you go to train mid-level to top management, please try to avoid some of the small kinesthetic activities that we do. Concentrate more on the cerebral activities or the cognitive learning activities where you have a case study, analysis, quizzes. So please make sure that the type you choose should also depend upon the level of training that you are doing, the type of training, the level at which you're doing, because people who have more experience and come into this, they would prefer the cognitive where their experience will matter and you will ask their opinion on it, right? I think that concludes the session for the 5 sessions that I was given. I will give one person one chance to ask any question, and then we will resolve these issues. Right? Bolo, any questions? Any observation? Anything?
What a wonderful session
Anything?
we had.
Dr. Hari sir, yes.
Wonderful session for the past 6 to 10. We had a very, live session, and it is really amazing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Ma'am,
Thank
will
you,
we see
everybody.
you next week for the refresher something, like one special
Yeah,
class?
it's more like for doubt clearance kind of a thing. Yes, I think Gurvinder is putting that together, and we'll probably